Yeehaw, I got snake eyes.
So, for my first episode, we're going to be building Kratos the Ghost of Sparta, as he's portrayed in God of War on the PS4. He's a bit rough around the edges and not very sociable. The man is a certified badass, and with some helpful feats, I feel like we can truly make him feel godlike. Our goals in this build are to capture the qualities of Kratos that really make him feel like a demigod. He's shown to have Herculean strength as well as an unstoppable ferocity in combat. He's very intimidating, he's a decent hunter to boot, but most of all, he's a frontline fighter, soaking up damage to protect his boy. Specializing in axes and fist-to-fist combat, he is a force to be reckoned with. I won't be adding the Blades of Chaos to this build, sadly, but maybe when I get some more traction, I could probably try to make a Greek Kratos build, and I'll see where I can go with that kind of idea. For stats, we're going to be having 4 ability boosts at level 1. So we put our first 4 into Strength, Constitution, Dexterity, and Wisdom. Kratos isn't exactly a scholar, and he doesn't exactly make friends easy, so we won't be boosting Intelligence and Charisma for this build, to keep things simple. For Ancestry, Kratos was a man before he was a god, so I would say human fits. They start off with 8 health, 25 base movement speed, 2 free ability boosts, and a feat. Put your 2 boosts into Strength and Constitution. Grab the Viking Shield Bearer feat to gain the shield block reaction and a free weapon. You can choose between a battle axe and a longsword. Clearly we're going to go with the battle axe, that's Kratos' main weapon throughout the game. It deals 1d8 damage and has the sweep ability, giving a +1 to attack rolls for a different opponent every time it strikes. So in a 1-2-3 enemy lineup, it would be a 1-2-3 attack roll bonus respectively. For background, take the warrior background. It should give you 2 boosts for your stats. 1 boost can be into strength or constitution, so let's not worry about it and put them both into strength and constitution. We also get the intimidation skill and warfare lore skill, finished off with the intimidating glare feat, meaning you can demoralize people with just a stare. It's perfect for Kratos because he's really standoffish and very intimidating. Now for heritage, because you were touched by a god and you became a demigod, I would say Asmar fits. Not a lot of these effects have a really big impact on Kratos, but you get to see in the dark with low light vision. That's pretty cool. Now, what class is fueled by rage and is impressively strong and difficult to kill? Although my heart says alchemist, Kratos is barbarian through and through. This class gives you a boost to your strength. Keeping track, we should now have an 18 in strength, the highest it can be at character creation. For the moment, it's the highest it will be. We are an expert at perception. Not impressive, but Kratos is more reacting out of reflex than a general read of the room. Barbarians get 12 health every time they level up, meaning by the time that it reaches the end of the game, Barbarians should have the highest health pool in the game, and the Kratos just come to no surprise that his health is going to be really high. Barbarians are experts in fortitude and will saves, and trained in reflex. Barbarians are supposed to be able to shrug off poisons and receive and deal powerful blows without any issues. And they can ignore charming effects during a rage, which is perfect for Kratos. He tends to get his head messed around a lot by gods. We are trained in athletics, and we are trained in 3 skills plus our intelligence modifier, which is 0, but that's okay. You only need these 3 skills. I recommend getting acrobatics, nature, and survival. The former kind of help round off Kratos' physicality, as athletics and acrobatics will be able to cover in that in spades. And the latter 2, because he has a strong sense of direction, he knows how to hunt, and he knows how to kill these things that he hunts, like man, beast, or otherwise. Kratos is going to be trained in simple martial and unarmed fighting, basically all the kinds of different weapons he uses in the game. He's also trained in light, medium, and unarmored fighting. Personally, any of these would favor Kratos. He never really goes as heavy as full plate armor unless you beat the game and that's all the endgame equipment is, but leather armor could simply be his pauldron and chest strap he's seen in all his concept art. Basically, whatever flavor Greek god you want, you're going to get. Now we're here for an important ability, Rage. You gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your level plus your constitution modifier. At this point, 4. This rage lasts for 1 minute until there are no more enemies you can see or you're knocked unconscious, whatever happens first. You voluntarily can't stop raging, but while you are raging, you get to deal 2 extra damage with melee weapons and armed attacks. This damage is half if you use your weapon as an agile weapon. So if Kratos goes and rages with a knife, he's not going to be doing as much damage as if he just were raging with his fists. You take a -1 to your AC, but with all the damage you're going to be outputting by the end of this build, you won't even feel that -1. And you can't use actions with the concentrate trait unless they have the rage trait. Say that 3 times fast. It's very specific to add this in there, but we didn't build Kratos so he can cast spells. He's going to be punching things really hard. We also get an instinct to flavor our rage. Personally, I feel like Ape works the best for Kratos. You get to use your hands for 1d10 damage during a rage and they're bludgeoning. It's perfect for the Spartan rage Kratos tends to fly into. This is great. Now we get our feats of strength. Barbarians will be getting feats at first and every even level after that. Feat 1 I would suggest is Rage Thrower, being able to add your rage damage to any thrown weapon attacks. So pick up a hatchet, you can throw it, pick up a rock. That's where it gets a little bit gray. There's many different interpretations to how the thrown weapon deal works. Rule of thumb, it's always a DM's discretion. Personally, I think throwing anything you want is fine. Even throwing the battle axe should be fine. But if your DM doesn't want it, your DM doesn't want it. So always be forward with your DM and explain what you want. I'm sure they'll work with you. At second level, we can grab Second Wind, letting Kratos enter a second rage shortly after the first rage. But he becomes fatigued at the end of that second rage. But that's fine. If your fight lasts more than 20 rounds, or 10 hours in real time, just accept inevitable defeat and tear up your character sheet. You probably ate all the snacks and need a break for a bathroom anyways. Now we also get a skill feat at level 2. I would suggest getting Titan Wrestler to be able to disarm, grapple, and shove and trip larger creatures. Kratos tends to manhandle trolls and aurors like no one's business. He really needs this to get those God of War grapples in. At third level, we get Deny Advantage. You aren't flat-footed to hidden, undetected, or flanking creatures of your level or lower, or creatures of your level and lower using surprise attack. However, they can still help their allies flank. Kratos tends to get sneak attacked a lot in this game, and he responds very quickly, so this should help out a lot. We also get a general feat, so let's bump up his constitution with toughness. You get an extra bit of health every level equal to our level, so right now it's just a +3. So with all that addition in, he should have around 59 health, and it's only going to get higher from there. We also get a skill increase. Let's improve athletics to get it up to expert. Kratos will be able to put a troll in a headlock. Let's make sure he stays in that headlock. Level 4, we get another barbarian and another skill feat. Let's get the skill feat Catfall for Kratos' acrobatics. He tends to just kind of land wherever he falls and it doesn't hurt him. I chalk it up to him just taking all the impact and just keep walking. Our fourth barbarian feat can be a number of different things, but I feel like we need to work towards having our axe come back to us. Grab the fighter dedication. Since we are trained in athletics and acrobatics, we can take Arcana instead. Kratos tends to mess around with gods a lot. This is important to keep him on the level. Fifth level is huge. We get 4 more ability scores increases. Let's boost our strength, constitution, dex, and wisdom. We get higher AC with our dex, we get more health with our constitution, higher damage with our strength, and a higher perception for initiative with our wisdom. This is perfect. We also get a skill feat. I suggest Hefty Hauler to improve Kratos' strength outside of combat, being able to carry a +2 bulk. He carries around those bridge crystals in the game without issue, even with a little jog at the end of it. This should be great. For Ancestry feat, let's grab Sense Allies. It allows Kratos to sense allies within 60 feet. Great for keeping an eye on Atreus when he's out of sight. Gotta keep an eye out for your boy. We also get Brutality at this level, increasing all our weapons from trained into expert. For a skill increase, let's go with Intimidation. Kratos is a scary dude, and since we're going to neglect Charisma, we need this higher. For those wondering why to invest in Intimidation if we aren't bumping Charisma, trust me, Kratos will be plenty scary by the time we're all done with this. Level 6 is another Barbarian and a skill feat. We are working towards a very specific feat with Fighter, so we need one more Fighter class feat. Trust me, it's going to be important. Take Power Attack. It's a level 1 feat and it can be Kratos' heavy axe attack. Make a melee strike. This counts as 2 attacks when calculating a multi-attack penalty. If the strike hits, you deal an extra die of weapon damage. So, your battle axe, it's 2d8. It's pretty good. For our skill feat, let's grab Powerful Leap. When you leap, you can jump 5 feet up in a vertical leap, and you can increase the distance of your horizontal jump by 5 feet. Kratos has mad hops, and we need to represent that. Level 7 is huge. We get Juggernaut. Our rank in Fortitude moves up to Master, meaning we can roll our level +6 plus our Constitution, so it's 17 at this level. That's really good. We also get Weapon Specialization, meaning we can get a +2 to all the weapons we have Expert in, so all the weapons we are using anyways get a slight damage boost. We also get our Instinct Specialization ability, meaning our rage damage bumps from a 2 to a 5, and our strikes bump up 1 die. So Kratos' Striking Fists now deal 1d12 plus 13 damage when he's raging. Kratos should be plowing through Draugr and Trolls with no hesitation. We also get a General feat and a Skill feat. Let's boost our Acrobatics to Expert. Now we can even out his Physicality. And for General feats, let's get Lead Climber. When your allies attempt to climb a route you set using the Follow the Expert exploration activity, if any of them critically fail their checks to climb, you can attempt an athletics check against the same DC. If you succeed, which you should, your ally fails instead of critically fails. If you also critically fail, you both experience the consequences of critical failure. When the boy fails the DC, you can at least try to absorb some damage when you both fall. Level 8 is another Barbarian and another skill feat. Let's grab Renewed Vigor. to heal half our level plus our constitution. So right now we only gain 7 health every turn. It's not a lot, but it's a continuous source of health that only costs a single action every turn. Not a bad cost to raise a little bit of health, and it's a good representation of Kratos' stamina. He gets hit and he just keeps going. For our skill, let's grab Quick Jump, to jump as a single action and not 2 actions. So with this, we can jump 3 times in a row. 9th level is another big level for Kratos. We get an Ancestry feat. Let's grab Hardy Traveler, increasing our overall bulk by 1 and increasing our land speed by 10 feet when traveling. So now our bulk is 13 plus our strength, which is a +4 for a big 17. Most large creatures are considered 12 bulk, so Kratos can now pick up a large creature without much issue. We also get Lightning Reflexes. Our reflexes are now bumped up to Expert, and we get Raging Resistance, giving us resistance to 3 plus our Con modifier for damage types based on our Instinct. Because we have Ape, we get Piercing and Slashing damage resistance. So when you fight Magni, you'll shrug off those slashes from a sword with no problem, but with a Stranger, his hits might just hurt a little bit more. We also get a skill increase. Let's bump our Athletics to Master. Let's make Kratos a real measure of force in the new Norse mythology. At 10th level, we get 4 ability boosts. We're going to keep boosting our Strength, Dex, Constitution, and Wisdom. Again, we're focusing on our saving throws and our overall skill. Our Strength is now a 20 or a +5. Our Dexterity should be at 16 as well as our Wisdom. Our Initiative is improving and our AC is rising. These are all good things. We get a Barbarian feat and a Skill feat. For Barbarian, let's get Silencing Strike. It's a single action and the target needs to succeed a Fortitude save against our class DC or be silenced. What's great about this, it's not a flourish. So Barbarian should be making this attack every round against magic users. Just shut down the battlefield mages and just beat them to death with constant attacks. For our skill feat, we get Wall Jump to propel ourselves up walls as long as we follow each jump with another jump. So you're going to have 3 jumps to clear a structure, which should be easy for Kratos with his high athletics. Should we take a break?
Finish what you started.
Okay, at 11th level, we get Mighty Rage. Increasing our class DC to Expert, we get a General feat and a Skill Mastery. Let's get Acrobatics to Master, and for the General feat, let's get Combat Climber. You're not flat-footed when climbing, and can climb with a hand occupied. You still have to use your other hand and both legs to climb though. This is great for those climbing sections in the game, but you can still fight back. 12th level, Barbarian feat and a Skill feat. Let's backtrack to Fighter. Get Advanced Maneuver, and with half our level being treated as Fighter, we qualify for a level 6 feat. That means we can get Ricochet Shot. While in this stance, any thrown weapons you use as part of a ranged attack that deal bludgeoning or slashing immediately return to your hand, enabling you to use them for additional strikes. You must be within the weapon's listed range increment, and you have to have a free hand to catch the weapon. If you make a ranged strike with a thrown weapon outside of its listed increment, it flies back to you a number of feet equal to its listed range increment, and it then falls to the ground. So, with a lenient DM, you could throw your battle axe and have it return to your hand, or you can have a hatchet that returns to your hand. It's a D6 versus a D8. I don't see a big deal, but in essence, we have a returning axe that we can throw. We have built Kratos. This is great. Let's keep moving. Oh, and for our skill feat, let's get Quick Climber to allow Kratos to climb faster. You move 5 feet more on a success and 10 more feet on a critical success. Level 13, another big level for Kratos. This is where he truly becomes the god of war. Become a greater juggernaut where your proficiency in fortitude saves increases to legendary. When you roll a critical failure on a fortitude save, you only get a failure instead. When you have a failure in fortitude that has an effect that deals damage, you half that damage you take. So with that, Kratos is truly feeling unstoppable now. You get medium armor proficiency. Your proficiency in light, medium, and unarmored defense jumps to expert, increasing our AC a notch and making Kratos just a little harder to hit. We also get weapon fury. Your rage is even more effective when weapons you wield. Your proficiency with all your weapons get bumped up to master, increasing our overall attack roll and our damage. For our ancestry feat, let's get stubborn persistence. You roll a flat DC and you beat a 17. You don't get fatigued when you normally would. Even after 20 rounds in combat, you have a 20% chance of not getting tired. This screams, man is too angry to die. Skill increase, intimidation to master. At a minimum, your intimidation right now is a plus 19. The worst roll is a dirty 20, the max roll is a 39. This is great for scaring most things in your path. Level 14, you get a barbarian feat and a skill feat. Whirlwind Strike allows Kratos to make an attack against every character in melee range at the cost of all 3 of his actions. It's a great AoE if you're in the right position. For our skill feat, Kip Up, it allows Kratos to get up from the ground without triggering any reactions. It's a simple feat that really Helps out a lot against those monsters or traps that have AOs when you're moving around in them. Level 15, 4 more ability boosts: Strength, Constitution, Dexterity, Wisdom. We also get a general feat. Let's get Battle Cry. Whenever you roll initiative, demoralize an observed foe as a free action. If you're legendary with Intimidation, which we will be, you can use a reaction to demoralize your foe when you critically succeed on an attack roll. You get Greater Weapon Specialization, which increases to +6 with Master Proficiency. Just that much more damage now. Indomitable Will, in which your proficiency rank and will save is increased in Master. When you roll success on a will save, you get a critical success instead. You get a skill increase. Let's bump Athletics into Legendary. Kratos is reaching levels of huge thought unreachable. Level 16, Barbarian feat and a skill feat. Let's do our best to make Kratos just that much more ridiculous and give him Cloud Jump. Triple the distance of your long jump so you can jump 60 feet on a successful D20 check. When you high jump, you can calculate for a long jump but don't triple the distance. For our Barbarian feat, let's get Shattering Blows. This allows attacks to ignore 5 hardness for every strike. It makes it great for deal with enemies that have shields. At level 17, you get Heightened Senses. Your proficiency rank for Perception increases to Master. For a skill increase, let's get Acrobatics and bump it up to Legendary. This paired with your Athletics, there isn't a labor that Kratos can't muscle his way through. We also get Quick Rage at this level, allowing Kratos to wait a turn to rage instead of waiting a full minute. Kratos as a person can just rage and rage and rage and he won't be stopped. This is perfect. And for our last Ancestry feat, let's actually use our Aasimar and go and grab Celestial Resistance to resist a certain kind of damage up to 5. All the deities that seem to give you trouble have a hard-on for lightning, so I'll suggest Electricity. So now Kratos can resist piercing, slashing, and lightning damage. It's perfect for fighting Zeus, the god of lightning, and just good for fighting Thor, the god of thunder. Or something like that. Our 18th level, our Barbarian feat for this level, I say we get Brutal Critical, allowing the die to be rolled in addition to a critical like a deadly die. So in an axe critical hit, it would be 1d8 plus 11 times 2 when it crits, then you add an additional d8 on top of the roll. And not to mention all the damage you'll be doing if you start critically hitting while using your Spartan Fists. This is a great feat. For our skill feat, let's get Rapid Mantle to easily pull yourself up onto ledges. When you grab an edge, you can pull yourself up onto the surface and stand. You can use your Athletics instead of your Reflex save to grab an edge. Considering how high your Athletics is, this is great. You shouldn't be failing these rolls. At level 19, we get Armor of Fury, increasing the armors we are expert in and increasing them up to Master. We also get Devastator. Your proficiency rank in your Barbarian class DC increases up to Master. Your melee strikes now ignore 10 points of a creature's resistance to their physical damage. Kratos is pumping out damage at this point, and there's nothing that can stop him. For our one general feat, I suggest we get Incredible Initiative to increase our initiative by +2 and make sure Kratos is going first in combat every time it's rolled. And for our last skill increase, let's get Kratos and bump him up to Legendary Intimidation. Although it could be higher if we put some boosts into it in Charisma, in my experience the distance between 7 and 10 feels much bigger than the distance between 27 and 30. You should be fine. At level 20 we get our last 4 ability score increases. Again, let's increase Strength, Constitution, Dexterity, and Wisdom, getting them as high as possible. For our last Barbarian feat, Unstoppable Juggernaut is Kratos in all essence. You gain a resistance equal to 3 plus your Constitution modifier to all damage, so at this point it's a flat +8. And your resistance from raging increases to 8 plus your Constitution modifier, so that increases to 13. You're ignoring 13 points of damage every time you get hit. This is great. In addition, when you're reduced to 0 hit points while raging, you can end your rage as a reaction to stay at 1 hit point. If you do, you become wounded 2, or you increase your wounded condition by 2 if you're already wounded. So, in a really bad situation, you can drop your rage, bring it back, get an increase of 25 health, and keep fighting. And for our last skill feat, this is the capstone to our level, so let's get Scared to Death. You can frighten foes so much they might just die. You attempt an intimidation check against the will DC of a living creature within 30 feet of you that you can sense and observe, and who can sense and observe you. If a target can't hear you or understand the language you are speaking, you take a -4 penalty. A creature is temporarily immune for 1 minute if you fail, but pretty much, you scare them, they die. Kratos is a very scary god to deal with, so this is perfect for that last little oomph. With all that being said, do you want to play as Kratos? Let's talk about Kratos' strengths, which is mostly his strength. He has a +6 unfiltered modifier in his strength, a +5 in his constitution, and a +4 in his dexterity. A minimum of 25 damage per punch with his Spartan Rage Fists, and over 350 health with the ability to heal 15 of it every turn with the cost of an action, as well as an AC of at least 38 with unarmored and a shield up. He's pretty in-game accurate, a devastating Spartan Rage damage, and impressive skills which we'll get to right now. Kratos can literally scare people to death, with an intimidation score of at least 29 on a 1 roll, and 48 on a 20 roll. With an athletics score of at least 34 and an acrobatics of a solid 32, there shouldn't be a situation where Kratos simply just can't muscle his way to victory. With Titan Wrestler, he can wrestle creatures 3 times his own size, or the highest size in the game gargantuan, with no issue. With Catfall, there isn't a distance Kratos can fall that will kill him, let alone cause him damage. But even with all these great strengths, Kratos isn't just raging across the land to kill whatever he wants. He's here to teach his son how to be a man and hopefully make up for a lifetime of mistakes. Hug your boy, swing your axe, and kick ass all the way up to the mountain. Just be ready for the next time you pick up your axe. Winter is ending and Ragnarok is coming. Thank you for checking out this video. I'll try to upload one of these at least every month, unless demand is higher than that. Pathfinder 2e is a really dense game system, so character builds take a lot of effort and a lot of time out of the day just to build, especially for a run-the-mill 1 to 20 build like this. If you like it, please leave a comment asking who you'd like to see next. Check out the next build where hopefully the cold won't bother us.